Toy Story is where it all began for Pixar Animation Studios. As the first ever totally CGI feature-length movie, you'd think there wouldn't be many secrets to uncover or references to make, but there are enough goodies here to fill up Andy's toy chest. Let's blast off to infinity and beyond! Tom Hanks voices Woody, a toy cowboy who is the source of untapped joy for his owner, a boy named Andy. Woody and the rest of Andy's toys come to life when people aren't around. During the title sequence, look closely, particularly at Woody's face, and you'll notice some subtle hints to that end. In some shots, his mouth is open, in others, it's closed. Be sure to pay close attention to the song at the beginning, too. Music man Randy Newman's memorable "You've Got a Friend in Me" is performed by Newman himself. But did you know at the end of the movie, that same song is performed as a duet? Joining Newman at the end is singer-songwriter Lyle Lovett. This is a subtle detail expressing how there's enough room in Andy's heart for more than one favorite toy. Room enough for Woody and room enough for Buzz Lightyear, Andy's Space Ranger toy voiced by Tim Allen. Buzz is the newest and coolest toy on the market, and when he shows up on Andy's 6th birthday, things get tense for Woody. Dynamics begin to change not just between him and the other toys, but with Andy as well. So what makes Buzz so special? Give a listen to the commercial for Buzz Lightyear. He has locking wrist communicator, karate chop action, pulsating laser light, a multi-phrase voice simulator, and high-pressure space wings. Not to mention, according to Woody, his helmet does that whoosh thing. By the way, do you recognize the voice of the announcer on that commercial? If you're a fan of magic and illusion, it should come as no surprise that voice belongs to magician Penn Jillette, the loud half of the magic duo act Penn and Teller. There's something else worth listening to. When Woody sets off the chain of events that launches Buzz out of Andy's bedroom window, listen to Buzz's scream. That's right, it's the first time we hear the Wilhelm scream from distant drums featured in a Pixar feature film. But back to the toy. There's another interesting detail about Buzz's wings. Check out the lights on the end. They're not just pretty colors, they actually serve a purpose. They're coded exactly like real navigation lights on an airplane. Forward-facing with green on the viewer's left and red on the viewer's right. Of course, that's not the only red light in Buzz's arsenal. Buzz uses his little red pulsating laser on Woody in the first moment he meets him, and the light shines right between Woody's eyes. So far, not off to a great start with the relationship between these two. But keep this moment in the back of your mind, because later when Woody is caught by the nefarious next-door neighbor boy Sid, he's tortured by the bully who uses a magnifying glass to burn a mark in that exact same place on Woody's head. Oh, Sid, the arch-nemesis of toys and little sisters everywhere. When he's not tearing the head off of his sister Hannah's dollies, he's exploding his own toys. If that wasn't disturbing enough, check out this little hidden detail. Before Sid burns a hole in Woody's head, he opens up the blinds and says, "Well, we have ways of making you talk." That night, while Woody tries to snap Buzz out of his existential crisis, take a look at what's under the milk carton with him. It's a spiral manual that reads Improvised Interrogation Handbook. Sid has some pretty questionable hobbies. Let's hope Andy never has a reason to wind up over at his house. Also, did you notice the rocket strapped to Buzz's back? When Sid first gets the rocket in the mail, take a look at the box it comes in. The label on the box reads, Illegal Fireworks Inc. Illegal. Illegal. Get it? Here's another interesting Easter egg in Sid's room. Did you see Sid's red toolbox with the brand Binford Tools on the side? Good luck finding the Binford brand in your local hardware store because it's a fictitious company. But Tim Allen fans sure know where the brand comes from. Allen became famous in the 1990s on his primetime sitcom Home Improvement, where he played Tim the Toolman Taylor, host of the construction show Tool Time, which was sponsored by Binford Tools. At least in Hannah's room, Buzz gets a little rest from the physical torture. Pay attention to Hannah's role-playing as she thanks Buzz, aka Mrs. Nesbit, for joining her tea party. She compliments Mrs. Nesbit on how well she coordinated her hat and her head. This is because Hannah doesn't have any other dolls with their heads intact, thanks to her bully older brother. Adding insult to injury, there's another headless joke to be found here. When Woody comes to collect Buzz, it's at the height of poor Buzz's delirium. After watching the commercial for, well, himself, Buzz is devastated to learn that he's just a toy and not a real Space Ranger. In the midst of his breakdown, he introduces Woody to the other Tea Party guests, Marie Antoinette and her little sister, both, of course, headless. And if you're not up on your history, Marie Antoinette was the last queen of France before the French Revolution. For crimes against the state, she was beheaded. there's still one more interesting little Easter egg to be found at the tea party. Take a look at the teapot. On the surface, there doesn't seem to be anything particularly special about it. In fact, it looks pretty bland. But did you know that this teapot has special significance to computer animators? It's modeled after the famous Utah teapot, or Newell teapot, for its creator, Martin Newell, and it was one of the very first 3D computer graphic models from way back in 1975. It's been known to pop up in computer animated shows, movies, and video games as an in-joke. Another early CGI Easter egg appears in Toy Story, but for that we'll have to go way back over to Andy's house. Tensions are already high in Andy's room before Buzz's arrival because Andy's family is getting ready to move. During Woody's meeting on the topic of moving buddies, take a look at the bookcase behind him. There are 2 books of note, one entitled Knick Knack and the other entitled Tin Toy. Did you know that these are the titles of the first 2 animated short films created by Toy Story's director John Lasseter? Take a look at the spine of Tin Toy, and you'll also see his name, and that's not the only Lasseter-related Easter egg. Lasseter and his contemporaries mastered their artistry at the California Institute of the Arts. They spent the bulk of their time in room A113, which was their classroom for graphic design and character animation. As a result, A113 appears as a sort of in-joke signature in all of Pixar's features. Case in point, take a look at Andy's mom's car. Did you catch the license plate number on their way to the Pizza Planet? That's right, A113. Just as A113 had awesome toys for the budding artists, Andy's room is filled with awesome toys who call Woody a friend, including a whole regiment of little green army men led by Sarge, voiced by R. Lee Ermey. Ermey's voice might be familiar to cinephiles and fans of war films thanks to his chilling performance as another Army character, Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, in Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. This isn't the only Kubrick reference in Toy Story, but for now, let's stick to our mission. Sarge and his team sneak downstairs during Andy's birthday party to report on the new toys Andy gets for his special day. Did you know the filmmakers taped shoes to a wooden board to figure out how the Army soldiers would walk and run on their own? The Little Green Army Men are based on real-life toys, whose origins date back to the 1930s. Most poses had their feet molded to a plastic base, which is what prompted the fun and challenging exercise for the animators. The Army Men aren't the only classic real-world toys found in Toy Story. Andy's room is filled with old favorites, from an Etch-a-Sketch to Tinker Toys to building blocks and a Speak and Spell. 2 of Woody's closest friends are Mr. Potato Head, voiced by comedy legend Don Rickles, and a piggy bank named Ham, played by John Ratzenberger, best known for his role as Cliff Clavin in the 1980 sitcom Cheers. From here on out, you'll hear his voice in every Pixar movie. Pixar considers him their good luck charm. Both Ham and Potato Head have sharp tongues, but one of them might have a sharper mind than the other. Watch the 2 play Battleship. Ham is wiping the floor with Potato Head, or is he? If you look at Mr. Potato Head's board, you can see that it's almost completely pegged white with only a few empty spots. Based on the ships left on Ham's side, Ham is clearly cheating. He's not the only one. Would it surprise you to know the animators did a little cheating themselves? Take a look at this next creepy little Easter egg. During Andy's party, one army man at the top of the stairs uses binoculars to get a better view of the entryway landing. Once he sees the place clear out of kids, he signals his teammates to parachute down. But wait, back that up a bit. Did you notice anything interesting about Andy's friends? Sure, they have different clothes, different hair, different skin tones, but if you look closely, they all have the same body and face as Andy. Here's another eerie little detail. Look closely at each character in Toy Story and see if you catch them blinking. If you do, you'll notice that most of the characters blink their eyes one at a time. This is a creative choice made by animators, and it's called offset blinking. Normally, it's used in animation to show a stupid or out-of-place character, but in Toy Story, it might be a subliminal detail used to remind the audience they're watching toys, not people. Speaking of offset blinking, oh no, we're back at Sid's house again. In his room, Woody spies one of Sid's creations known as Babyface, a scary one-eyed baby doll head atop an erector-set spider body. But he quickly learns that looks can be deceiving, as Babyface and the rest of Sid's mistreated toys only want to help him and Buzz. Babyface communicates by tapping out Morse code, a sequence of dot and dash signals used to signify letters and numbers. Would it surprise you to know that Woody might actually understand what Babyface is telling him? Take a look at the montage accompanied by Randy Newman's song Strange Things. As Buzz Lightyear merchandise begins to take over Andy's room, look closely at the poster to the right of Andy's bed. It's a Buzz Lightyear Morse code key. And if you're wondering what Babyface is saying after Woody pleads for help with saving Buzz, it's RR come out. RR is a common pro sign used to mean received, so it could be Babyface saying he understands Woody before he tells the rest of the toys to come out. That's a relief. I thought it meant red rum. Speaking of, remember that other Stanley Kubrick reference I talked about earlier? Take a look at the carpeting in the second floor hallway. Does the design seem strangely familiar? The colors might be different, but it's the same design as the carpet from The Shining, the screen adaptation of Stephen King's terrifying novel, directed by Stanley Kubrick. There's another horror movie Easter egg, and for that, we're going to take a ride on over to Pizza Planet, where… Oh, Sid! That kid is everywhere. Watch the way he goes gonzo on the Whack-an-Alien game at the Pizza Planet. Did you realize the game itself is an Easter egg? It's a darkly playful take on the xenomorph from Ridley Scott's 1979 space chiller Alien. The xenomorph is famous for bursting from the chest of its host at the end of its incubation period. Pizza, anyone? Here's one more cool Pizza Planet secret. Once Woody and Buzz toss away their food container disguises, Buzz looks in awe at the pizza restaurant space station. Look at the overhead monitors and you'll see a launch countdown. There's something special about that countdown. At 39 minutes, set your timer and you'll realize the countdown also marks the moment in the movie where Andy realizes he has both Woody and Buzz with him in the car on his way to his new home. How's that for a happy ending? Here's another one. At the end of Toy Story, Andy's sister Molly gets a Christmas present that's a dream come true for Mr. Potato Head. Look at his excitement when Sarge announces, "Mrs. Potato Head." But also, did you happen to look behind him at the speak and spell? It spells out, "Hubba Hubba." I guess Potato Head's got game after all. It's just that game isn't Battleship. I hope you liked this video and found some cool new details you haven't seen before in Pixar's Toy Story. Make sure you subscribe to Movie Logic for more daily movie facts, trivia, and Easter eggs.